Friends, let us move on to our next technical session. In this session, you will understand the offshore opportunities for chartered accountants. To enlighten us on this topic, we have invited our member, highly successful entrepreneur, and a member of ICI's Young Member Committee. CA Chetan Venugopal is with us. May I request Sridhar sir to come on and dais and welcome him with the floral bouquet. Please welcome Chetan Venugopal. Thank you, Sridhar sir. Friends, it is my pleasure to introduce Chetan to this August gathering. He is our member and the co-founder and director of Hyrian Services Private Limited. Hyrian is a leading KPO focused in the areas of outsourcing of finance and accounting, analytics and digital engagements. Headquarters in Bangalore, it has operations in India, US, Singapore and in Middle East, having more than 1,000 plus professionals in his team. Over the last 15 years, he has been actively associated with many startups from the ground up and some of which have scaled up to unicorn. Chetan is President and CEO of Hyrian Singapore Private Limited. He is an independent director of Indian Railway Finance Corporation, IRFC, which is the funding arm of Indian Railways. He is a board member of RT Asian Network headquartered in Singapore, the first multidisciplinary professional network for Asian region. He has also been various committee members of our ICI, which I mentioned. He is also a member of Young Members Committee of ICI in Delhi. He is associated with many social and charitable causes. More than that, an enchanting personality, CA Chetan Venugopal. With this brief intro, I present him before you. Please join me to welcome him.
So good evening everybody. Mr. B.T. Shetty, my dear young friends here. At the outset, I'd like to thank Bangalore branch of ICI for inviting me here to talk about the offshoring opportunities. As Mr. B.T. Shetty said, I've been associated with the Young Members Committee for quite some time, and it's really a privilege to be here and speaking to all of you. About a week back, Mr. Shivram Bhatt called me and said, Chetan, can you please talk about offshoring opportunities? You are my partner, Gurunath. So I said it's a pleasure to share whatever we've been able to do over the last 10 to 15 years with anybody who's interested in looking at the offshore opportunities. So today, I would like to spend they give me about 45 minutes. I would like to spend about 30 minutes to share with you some of the engagements that we have done in the offshore scenario, so that they kind of provide you with an insight into what are the opportunities that you can look at. And what you see there when I actually walk you through the case studies is something that has matured over a period of time, right? You should appreciate the fact that when we started these engagements, they were not of this size or scale. They started off very small, but today they've grown to this level. But I will talk to you about all of that. Firstly, as a company, I'd just like to give you the context about us, and so that you'll be able to appreciate about the work that we are doing. As Mr. Shetty said, Hyrian is a company that Gurunath and I, we are both chartered accountants. We started about 15 years back. Our offshore space is more about 10 plus years. 60% of our business still comes from the domestic market, and 40% comes from our offshore market. As we said, we have about 1,000 plus people. We have about 35-40 chartered accountants. In terms of recognition, in the last year, we were very happy to note that We were chosen as one of the top 50 emerging companies in the country by London Partners and Video. We considered one of the best companies in the country. And also we were also chosen as one of the fast 50 companies technology-wise. And I will also talk to you during the course of my presentation how we have been able to integrate technology with the services. Essentially, as you see, what we do, it's all related to finance and accounting. Our core focus continues to be finance and accounting and everything related around that. So in terms of our presence, Bangalore is our headquarters. We have our tech team or our digital team working out of Pune. We have Shumaga. Most of you who are here, you're aware of Shumaga, which is a tier 2 city. We have a good sizable team working out of that. And also Gurgaon to handle a lot of our North India operations. We have been in Singapore for the last 10 years as a wholly owned subsidiary. In the Middle East, we have been there in Sharjah as a 100% wholly owned subsidiary. Some of you may be aware that in the Middle East, you need to have a local partner to work there, but there are certain free trade zones like in Sharjah. That's where we have a 100% subsidiary. Plus, we have a joint venture, one of the leading companies in Abu Dhabi, And the US, again, we've been there as a 100% subsidiary in the US for almost 10 plus years. Just a quick snapshot about what we do. We have, as I said, we are focused on finance and accounting. We work with a number of startups and a number of mid-sized companies. A lot of them from the US, from Europe, from Asia. Besides handling the end-to-end finance accounting, typically there are a lot of international transactions that we do. So we have a team that looks after the indirect taxation, corporate taxes, company law matters. So end-to-end solution is what is supported by the team. Besides that, we have done a lot of internal control testing, like for example, SOX engagements we have done in the Asia Pac region for the last 10-12 years. With that learning, we have been able to build a lot of internal control teams which have undertaken process reviews, RCMs and work like that. And managed services, which is our core business, which is basically finance and accounting outsourcing, HR service outsourcing, a lot of business process outsourcing, and digital services. As I said earlier, today no company can survive without digital and technology in place. I mean, you can never scale, you can never achieve the right efficiencies and productivity without embracing technology. I think me and my partner and our senior team, we realize that we will not be able to scale the way we can without embracing digital, and that's what we have done in the last 5 years. As I said earlier, again, I would like to use some of the engagements. What I'm going to showcase is some of the successful ones that we have been able to over the last 12-15 years. But I must admit that there are a number of engagements that we have failed. Those are the engagements I will also discuss with you, and why we have failed and what we should, ensure that we don't do to commit those mistakes. Let me begin with success stories, and during the course of my presentation, I will also share with you some of the things that we did not do well, and also the reason why we did not do well. The first of the things I'm very happy to share, because this is one of the clients that we signed very early on when we started Pioneer. And again, friends, when we started Gurunath and I, we never had any, to be honest, we never thought we'd grow a company which will have 1,000 people, 40 chartered accountants, etc., etc. Just to give a quick background which was not shared is, Gurunath and I started like any chartered accountant. For the first 7-8 years, we've been together for the last 28-29 years of partners, 92 to 2019. So 7-8 years we've been in practice doing the typical audits, tax filing, etc. But somehow along the way we got a bit bored about it. And Bangalore in the early 2000s was the hotspot for technology companies and things like that. So we continued the firm. In a sense, we admitted some partners. They continued the firm, and then Gurunath and I went and joined tech companies, and Guru joined Motorola. I joined a very leading startup then, which eventually grew very well. I had 4 to 5 years experience. Why I'm trying to tell you all of this is, these are the experience that helped us to actually set up something like Pioneer and take it to the next level. Because working as a practicing chartered accountant, you're tuned in a certain manner. To be looking at the other side is a bit of an orientation that happened. We were fortunate, I must say, having come to the industry, seen the other side of the table, worked with sort of professionals and enabled us to build our skills as well to be able to build a company like Pioneer. So when we started 2003, this is one of the companies, this is a typical outsourcing company in the US. Way back in 2001, they started in 2001. So we, again, Pioneer does not have a big sales team. To be growing out offshore, one of the things that you need to pump in a lot of money. We have been fortunate enough not to be spending too many bucks on marketing, and it was a reference by reference. See, some of you might have a question, how do I start? Where do I start? And I mean, what kind of cost do I have to incur? So fortunately we had some lucky wins, and this is one of them. It's a typical accounting firm. It's run by a CPA in the US, but it's not a CPA firm in the sense they don't do tax processing, they don't do typical audits and stuff like that. They're an outsourcing firm. Though they engaged Pylin to handle their some of their clients' accounts payable as a back office, 2 people. But today, in the matter of about 10-12 years, they have 200 plus clients, entire 200 plus clients, entire from accounts payable to reporting. Mr. Rishi was talking about a lot of these analytics tools, right? We engage those tools in a practical manner. We like Power BIs, Tableaus and Sisense. We are actually deploying these tools to do the business, to do the financial reports of all these clients. So this client who is based in Dallas, Texas, from a 2 people engagement, it's now a 25-30 people in our company who are handling the entire 200 plus clients from payables to reporting using all of these tools. So what are the things that you do face a lot of challenge, because scaling with the client's requirements. I would also like to share along the way what has helped us to grow. It's always easy to kind of see when you reach the other side of the thing, like a success thing, but a lot of things happen along the way. And as a team, and one person cannot take the credit, it's the team that will be able to identify those challenges and able to overcome those. And one of the things that we did was to identify what are the things that are required to scale by getting the right kind of people, bringing the right kind of process, because the client will not tell you that what needs to be done. He says, I have 100 clients and I need to deliver this a time frame. Now, how do you do that? If you just deploy people to people, you will not be able to deliver the quality, or you'll fault on the timelines, you'll fault on many things. So you have to think through. And we are not a company which has been funded. That's something that we are proud of. Though we have grown from 1 to 1,000 people, we have not been funded. Though we have so many number of startups, we've not got funding. So cash was always a challenge for us, to kind of invest on technology. So we looked at those applications which are available off the shelf, like your Power BIs, it's available like $120 per annum, a kind of a thing, or a Sisense. We deployed all of this, we brought in the process required, and helped scale up the thing. So one of the things that I would say that you can look at opportunities to is outsourcing of finance and accounting. It is still a big opportunity there, but how do you look at it is you have to kind of reach out. See, if you look out at the CPA firms, you might not be able to do a good job simply because they are like our CF firms. They get books once in a year, and you'll have to do the books. What we are doing is real time. Typically, all our engagements are real-time engagements. It's not like you get your books once in a week or once. It is actually running live finance and accounting departments, whether it is in India or whether it's in the US. So to reach that level, you have to work with those kind of things. So these are accounting firms which kind of. So if you want to be looking at finance and accounting, you have to reach out to some of the mid-size CPA firms who are having certain sizable clients of 10 million and 20 million above customers, and you can look at that as an opportunity. Second is, I'm sure you've all heard about 401k plans, right? It's like social security. Like in India, your PF, and thing. Similarly in the US, you have 401k, where the companies have a 401k plan implemented, where the companies deduct the 401k contribution of the employee. They also contribute the employer's contribution, and they deposit into. There's a management happens. Like in India, also you have set up your own trust team. There is an option to manage your own PF thing, right? If you want to. Similarly, there is this 401k. What is the engagement that we are doing here is again for the past 15 years. So one of the things that we are also very happy is most of the engagements have been 5, 10, 15-year engagements. We've been able to instill the confidence and retain the trust of the customer. Here what we do is, and what you can look at is, look out for 401k plan administrators. They have a number of customers that they work with, and they need back offices to support them. And what we do is basically we are a backend for these companies which are providing 401k plans. We get inputs on the deductions that happens from their customers. There is a 401k provider, he has multiple engagements that he works with. He has a process set up where they get information after the payroll is done, you have reductions. So the back-end office monitors this reduction. They take the employer's contribution, and then you work with the trust there. You have to deposit these contributions to the trust, monitor all these investments, Typically, there could be, see, as an employee, you have an option to choose what you want to do, right? Next month, you can change your plan from plan A to plan B. So all these transfers will happen, changes will happen. So basically, it's a 401k plan administration for your customer and manage their end-to-end activities. There is compliance that needs to be done, there is reports to be done. So this is again a back-end activity that you do for your customers in the US. The third one I want to share about is a payroll. Right, and payroll, a lot of companies are doing in India. Even in the offshore market, you have a number of opportunities. Again, you have to hit upon the right kind of partnership. Again, we have been fortunate to tie up with a very large payroll service provider from the US. They're a large company, and they recently got acquired by ADP. And what they do is they have a number of customers like Microsoft, Uber, a lot of these big companies based out of Middle East for whom payroll has to be done. And again, through a contact in the US, they contacted us because we were present in the Middle East. They checked whether we can do payroll for them. So these are really highly profitable engagements. So we are processing payroll for almost 2,000 employees of these companies in Saudi, in Qatar, in Oman. So this is an opportunity that you can look for. I talked about finance and accounting. We talked about 401k plan. Third one is you can look at payroll processing. For the customers offshore. We've got customers from Singapore, customers from Middle East and the US. Now, typically this is an opportunity that we can all look for because this is right from India to the US. There are a number of, as I mentioned earlier, we've been working with a number of startups which have become unicorns, and their principal companies are all based out of US. So what happened is they came to us as a service provider in India, right? That's how we started. We kind of told them that we are the company that can help you set up operations in India, do your bookkeeping, compliance, blah, blah, blah. So you got into those companies. And after a couple of years, when you have established the right confidence, then they start talking to you. Guys, can you do our US books? Can you do this, right? So that's how a lot of these engagements, we started off as an Indian engagement, eventually became a global engagement. This is one case where this is about NASDAQ listed company. It's a NASDAQ listed company with Indian operations, and in India they have an R&D, basically technical guys who are helping them to do with a lot of technology guys. They manufacture military mobile phones, the very rugged mobile phones with a manufacturing plant in China. So what started off as a India-centric finance and accounting services, today we handle the entire global accounting services with teams sitting in India, and we have one or two people based in the US, but the whole thing is done here. So in short, we provide them finance and accounting, compliance management and reporting. Not only that, as I said, it's about value adds that you can provide the companies is what adds to the stickiness of your engagement. If it's plain finance and accounting, there are quite a few players who can add to that. We were also, as I said, fortunate enough to build professionals who can do control testing, who can actually do a process study. And our approach to an engagement is, whenever we take an engagement, how big or small it is, it's first understanding phase, where we look at the existing process, how does it work, as is process as we call them, and that's how we began this engagement as a study. You completely study a complete procure to pay, P2P as you're aware, order to cash, O to C, and then R to R, record to report. Each of these activities, our teams actually do a deep dive, understand the entire process flow, where does it start, where does it end, what are the risks that are there in those processes, what are the controls that are existing in the current processes, what are the controls you need to build in. Unless you are able to build in a tight, proof, process documentation, you can never offshore or do any outsourcing work, because you will definitely falter, because there are so many activities that you might not be able to capture unless you do a deep dive. So these are the things that we actually did along the way to be able to instill confidence in the client. We did one process, we did that, and then we also brought in Tableau in this situation where we do a standalone financials, all the things that Mr. Rishi was talking about right on your sales side. So our data are actually drawn on real time. You are picking up the information from Microsoft Navision straight onto your Power BI. Every 6 hours the data is refreshed, so you're running right from transaction to reporting. So he's getting a standalone balance sheet for India, China and the US, plus a consolidated view of the financials. So this is how we are able to kind of work on the client. As I said right at the beginning, you should understand that these are matured over a period of 8-10 years, but that should not deter any young person to do, because there's still so much of opportunities that are there. It's about getting a right team in place. You should have a lot of patience, and you should, not be deterred by the early failures that you're going to have. I'm sure definitely you have failures, but what keeps you going is your confidence that you will succeed at the end of the day. That's the kind of thing you should work with. And next I want to talk about is again a typical kind of an engagement which is in India run outside. It's a mortgage industry. They provide a lot of technology solutions to the US customers, and we handle again end to end. They don't have a finance team literally. They're about, in revenue they're about 12 million. They have one person in-house. The entire work both in India and US is all done by our team. So this is the same thing that I spoke about in the previous engagement. I'd like to pick up something different. Now, as I said, we also do business processes, like managed services, and the chartered accountants it's an opportunity that you should definitely look at in the offshore market because of the cost arbitrage that you will bring into play. Now, this is a very leading academic institution in Singapore, and they have more than 8,000 students working, and they are all spread from various parts of ASEAN region. It could be Indonesia, Philippines, Malaysia. They're all over the thing. And this company engaged us about 4 years ago. This is again an opportunity. Why I say so is there's a cost arbitrage that we bring to the table, and also these people find it very difficult to scale. And what we do for this particular academic institution is entire process, right from the time a student joins an admission to their invigilator management, to their marks input, their invoicing their students, etc., etc. That's on the business process side, plus their entire finance and accounting. So you get in with one, but at the end of the day, if you are able to kind of get the confidence of the customer, the entire thing is at your disposal. How you are able to manage that and take it forward is upon you. So this again has grown significantly, and what we have done is we have set up a place in Shumaga, and I am leveraging my tier 2 city to do this thing. It's a business process. And Bangalore, difficult to get people, the cost is very high. So we have engaged people. We have about 150 people in Shumaga. They are helping us on a lot of business processes and back-end services. And our team, and they have done a flawless job. We think Bangalore people are the best, but actually you go down interiors to some places like Shumaga, Hubli, you get some of the best talents and some of the best feedback that we get from the customers. So here in this engagement, I would say that as an opportunity, you could look at business process outsourcing as an opportunity. And again, how do you do that? See, again, we cannot talk about it. It's all good when it all ends well, right? But the challenge is how do you start and where do you start? And again here, we started off in Singapore, though we have a wholly owned subsidiary. Networks, it's very important that you're connecting with the right people in those markets. You should have the right people, and unless you're able to have a Chinese working in Singapore or a white working in the US, it won't work. It's very difficult for us as Indians to go and sell in a Chinese market all said and done, or the US market. So you have to have partners. And today, I spoke about my first client, right? After having worked for some time, today he's my marketing partner in the US. He does all the sales for us. He's got all the white skin guys flying around, making a pitch and helping us grow our businesses, and both of us are benefiting out of that. So if you're looking at it, you have to use your own. And today, fortunately, in all these countries, a lot of Indians are there. And these are the guys who will actually help you to put in touch with, if you have friends, if you have connects, they will tell you, hey, I can connect you with so and so, just see if this works out for you. And that's how it has worked out for us. It's just not, and after that, of course, you have to do a lot of effort, but those are the initial breaks that you will have to look for and see how you can break through to enter into these markets. Even in the Middle East, fortunately in the Middle East, when I was working for those 5 years, one of my friends, one of the big four, he was, just to give you an instance of how he got a breakthrough in Middle East. And it was so kind of a lucky break, I must say. He's a friend of mine who was working in one of the big fours. So he was my auditor when I was the vice president finance in an IT company here. And he moved to the Middle East. And he was working in another big four for a few years. And then he got a very big break. He became a CFO of a very large company there. And then he said, hey Chetan, I have some offshoring work, want to do it? I said, of course I would like to do it. That break gave us an opportunity to get into the Middle East market, and from there on we build one after another. So, those are the things you should look for and see if that works for you people. So this is, as I said, this is a Singapore company, and this is about Muscat, Oman. And again, what I'm trying to share with you is different verticals that we have been able to work with. This is a hospital in Muscat, and run by an Indian. He's from Chennai, but in Muscat for 25 years, again to a reference. We were fortunate to get Professor Sundarajan, who I don't know if you've heard of it. He's a very senior chartered accountant from Bangalore. He's a professor in IIM for about 18 years. He moved to Muscat, and he was my guru when I was doing my CA. He linked us off in Muscat. That's how we got into the Oman market. And this is another engagement, which is a hospital. Hospital has so many activities and things to do. It's very difficult to so again you have to do an entire process map, right from an outpatient, inpatient, to multiple things, insurance, blah. There's so many things that you spend almost 2 months to have your people, 3 to 4 people sitting there with the client's location, mapping activities, getting it signed off, and then moving it to your thing. So today we are actually working with them for 8+ years. So why I'm saying all of that is for you to be aware of what it really takes to make it a really ongoing. And I've also seen a lot of engagements which can fall through within 2 to 3 months because of overconfidence or because you've not done your groundwork well. If you've done your basics right and if you're putting the process right, it's definitely going to succeed as long as the client is there and you are. That's our thing. So here again it's a hospital, finance and accounting, plus a lot of business processes like making claims for insurance. So that's another area that you can look at is medical billing and medical insurance. You might have heard a lot of companies in India have been supporting US companies and a lot of Middle East companies on insurance claims, medical billing, where you get information on a code basis. People are specialized. There are actually people who can actually code the billing thing and then send it to the customer. So this is one area that we are also working on. The other is, so this is a big data, and Mr. Rishi talked about something that has happened again out of the blue. This is really a big data analytics that we are doing for, you've heard of GDS, right? Global Distribution System, about MEDS, Tableau. And this is one of those, I can't mention the name, but this is one of those big 5 GDS in the globe. And we were again fortunate to hit upon their Middle East market and in Bahrain. And this client have billions of dollars in revenue, 3.2 billion, and they did not have a good analytic platform with them. And what they wanted is, they have seen, what does GDS do? It's a technology platform. It connects the particular GDS of the customers. It connects travel agents, it connects airlines, it connects hotels, it connects various travel related things on a single technology platform. So you can imagine the humongous amount of data that's getting out from that platform. But when we went there, fortunately they did not have a tool that's able to actually analyze the data and provide inputs or insights to the users so that they're able to take meaningful day-to-day decisions. So YN went in. We say again, I must say this, one thing that you should know, that you will not have all the team that you require to do a job, right? You should seize an opportunity, but there are n number of consultants, n number of experts who are available. You should be able to spot them, put them within your team and going for that. This is what we did. We didn't have this kind of analytics team, we didn't have this kind of people, but we spotted the opportunity. Again, good to get some good people. We went in, we presented the solution to them, and we gave this. We have been working on this engagement for the past 4 years. So this is a high-end data. We use Sisense. Shrishi did talk about one of those things is Sisense. We use Sisense here, and through Sisense, as I said, there are multiple data sources that are there. You build what you call a data lake. Once you build a data lake and you're connecting different sources of data, then you build a model. And through that model, you render, that is what you call data modeling or data structure. From there, you plug onto a Sisense. So there are different elements to actually get a visualization. First is your data source, then you build a data lake, then you introduce a Sisense or a Tableau or a Power BI, and then you build a portal, which is a visualization platform. So all of this took almost 8 months to build. And again, why I'm saying that is, this is another opportunity. Analytics is a great opportunity. Again, you can build teams, you can look for opportunities, because a lot of companies, both in Singapore and the Middle East, are looking for things other than an Excel sheet. They want to see smart insights that they can look for. All mid-sized companies, that's what they're looking at. So this is one other opportunity that you look for. And this is about this, these credit card manufacturers, credit card swiping machines. So this is a company in US. And again, this is a lucky break for us. We are handling the entire supply chain. The entire supply chain process as a business process outsourcing, entire supply chain P2P. Our team manages their entire P2P, so that's another opportunity you can look for business processing. And analytics. It's a combination of business process analytics. There's another team which actually prepares insights, various gross margins on various products, various reports that is required, and delivers it to the management. Today, every week, the CEO of that company has a meeting with his global team, and our team sitting in Pune is sitting live with that CEO and actually rendering this data, because the team there is working for the last 5 years and they know inside out of the data, so they are able to actually help the CEO with whatever questions that is required by things. So you can look at analytics as another opportunity for your customers. Okay, see, as I said, shared service is another very thing. Again, this all requires a bit of scale to be able to reach that. And again, these are opportunities that you can spot for. This is a big multinational company, and setting up a shared service was one of their requirements. Because we are running shared service. Shared service is what? You are having people working on multiple engagements at the same time, right? You have 10 people, an accounts payable team. They are just not looking at one company. You have built a process and you introduce technology. They can work 10 companies at the same time. So that's a shared service. You build center of excellence on an accounts payable or a GL or an AR or whatever compliance, and that's a shared service. So finance and accounting shared service. Similarly, HR shared service. Today, a lot of companies across the globe are trying to ensure that they're optimizing their cost on running these support services. It could be finance, it could be HR, it could be IT, it could be procurement, it could be any other support services. So this is an opportunity that if you are able to put together a team and showcase certain things, there could be an opportunity first for helping them to set up a shared service, and then if you're fortunate enough to manage them. This is one instance where we have helped them to set up a shared service in the HR space, where it's a company which is about $500 million in revenue. It's a manufacturing company, and they've been in business for almost 50 years. They were looking at a service provider in India who is able to set up a shared service for them, because they have 13,000 employees across the globe, and they had challenges on cost and attrition, etc., etc. So they said, can you guys help us to study our HR services in 2-3 countries, and then come back and give us a proposal that you can set up. So this is an engagement that we have been able to sign up and run a shared services for them, where it includes from helping. See, the model is like this, right? There is a shared service which is set up in India, in Bangalore specifically, and this team provides support to the various HR managers in the country. The structure, the model is there are HR managers in each country. There's an HR manager in Singapore with her team, there's an HR manager in Malaysia with their team, etc., etc. So they are all doing the strategic role. They will focus on what the management wants, so they don't get in the transaction level. So what we do here is, there's a team which helps in hiring, there's a team which helps in setting up training, there's a team that helps up in setting performance management, there's a team that helps in exit formalities. So there are multiple activities that needs to be done in HR space. And what these companies do is, they leverage the team that is sitting here to do this transaction processing, putting in the data, giving analytics. So there's transaction analytics. The team sitting there in the respective countries they're more strategic in nature. They have an annual plan, they have an annual goal, they have hiring requirements, they share all of that. The team sitting here does all the hiring, they kind of shortlist the profile, they share the profile, they set up the interviews, they carry out the interviews, then they put the right candidate in front of the training person, all of that happens. And similarly, your training calendars are to be fixed, they need to reach out to various employees. So there are 13,000 employees, different training programs. So this is how I would say that opportunities can be looked at, and as young chartered accountants you can look at. And this is about, okay, this is something very different, and just sharing this with you, because as chartered accountants we feel proud that we've been able to do this kind of work as well. See, today you all heard about digital transformation, right? And when we started off, as I said, we were only doing bookkeeping and accounting. Today we are doing what an Infosys does. In the last 15 years, we've been able to scale and do what Infosys can proudly say. Finance is able to reach and do that. And this is the same set of chartered accountants who have been able to do that. What is this engagement? Is digital transformation, right? This is a $500 million company based in Abu Dhabi. It's like your team lease. You all heard about team lease in India, right? So it's a typical team lease in Abu Dhabi with about 8,000 to 10,000 employees. They have 10 subsidiaries They were working on multiple, see, as you all know, as chartered accountants, you worked in a lot of audits, you've seen that if there are group companies, some company will be on Oracle, some company will be on Navision, some company, as they have grown, they have kind of implemented, but at some point in time, they realize that it's not very efficient to be having different applications to be running into. So you decide one fine day that I move everything to an X platform. And then you try to connect each of the functions, be it sales, be it HR, be it operations, be it finance, into a single digital dashboard. The thing is, you are first moving, step one is to ensure that you're all moving on a single Oracle platform, and then you identify what are the gaps that are currently there in various functions, and then connect them seamlessly onto a single information dashboard. So that is a kind of engagement that today companies are looking for. When they talk about digital transformation, this is what they're trying to do, where they're converting their legacy systems into a digital format and ensuring that the information that they're getting on their business is pretty much real time. They're able to get information not just on financial accounting, or they're able to get the 360-degree view of the business, so the board is able to get a very meaningful data and information to take decision making. So this is another kind of work that we have been doing right now. Okay, these are some of the engagements that we have worked, and it's working well for us. There are other things we have tried, I'm sure you have heard of, which has not succeeded for us. One is US tax processing, right? I'm sure you all heard about it, and Big Fours have done big things on that because of huge high numbers and things like that. When we started off in 2003, 2004, for the first 2-3 years we tried tax processing. But unlike in India, it's very seasonal in the US, right? They've all closed their tax returns by April, and it's between February and April. And if they file for extensions, then they don't come to you. So you are training a team on tax processing, say 10-15 people for about 2-3 months. All of that is done. But when you start actually processing, they will assure you I'll send you 500 returns, but they will send you about 150 returns. The rest of it goes for extension. You can file for extension. When you file for extension, they'll get time till September. So when the extension comes in, you don't get the returns here. So unless you have very big numbers and it's extremely seasonal in nature, I don't recommend Indian chartered accountants to really get into tax processing, because that drains your resources. It's very busy, difficult to keep your team busy for the rest of the year, and that's one of the things that we lost. The other thing is medical billing. Again, medical billing is a very dicey thing. We did very well for the first 3 years of our thing, but unfortunately we kind of got hijacked. The client kind of hijacked the engagement, because whatever happened, the team was completely hijacked from us, and they started off their own, and we were very new, so we were naive to kind of let that happen. So that's something that medical billing didn't work for us, tax processing didn't work for us, and other than that, I think this is pretty much what I see as an opportunity for Indian chartered accountants to look at offshore market. And I can tell you very confidently that if you have the right team and you're able to kind of have a lot of patience, you have to have a lot of patience and kind of go through that difficult times and be able to do it, then there is definitely a future. And most important thing is you have to bring in automation. I didn't share a lot of things here, in the sense that we are doing a lot of large companies, like very large companies in India, for where I cannot do it manually for sure. So today we are introducing automation, where a touchless API, where I get an invoice on an email. There's a thing, that bot that opens that email, it extracts all the information from the invoice in a digital format, it pushes it into a particular thing which we call ICR. The next challenge for us is to move that digital format into the accounting application, in the accounting principles and policies that you want to follow. If I'm able to do that, that will be the biggest differentiator we as a company can bring to the market, as a touchless accounting, where right from opening the invoice right up to the pushing the thing, that's what you have to do. Here again, we have introduced a lot of these small stuff along the way to be able to hold the customer. See, how do you hold the customer after 3-4 years? He keeps challenging you. I know, what is it that I can expect, as a lady out there, she said, what is it that I can look for next? That's something that you have to keep thinking and add those things along the way. And it depends on each situation, so it's very difficult to say what works or what. But that's definitely what helps you to have the client stick around with you. I think these are some of the things I thought I could share with you, with actual examples of what has happened and how it has worked for us. And I'm happy to take any questions that you may have.
No, sir.
Yeah.
To be able to do accounting from here or any other outsourced work, how do you capture data which might be on paper in some other country? So how does that data reach you here?
Fantastic. That's a basic question. Absolutely. Now you have a number of workflows. Okay, digitization is the key today, right? You scan documents. Today you have smartphones that can take pictures. You can just have your mobile phone and take pictures and put it on an application, right? Again, I don't want to mention the name of the applications, but there are many applications in the market that helps you to move the document from the client's location to your location. And that workflow will also help you to build authorization metrics. Now, for example, there are business rules you can set. Up to 1 lakh of rupees X can approve. Above that, somebody else can approve. So for your question, how does a document move? Is first is you have to digitize those documents by scanning or using your smartphone to digitize those documents and put it on a workflow. And through that, it will come to your, wherever you want to process it.
So for small scale, it might work, but if there are like hundreds of invoices...
No, that is where it works. For large scale today, what happens is loss of data is a huge thing. A lot of companies lose invoices, lose that. Today, digitization is the most important thing. You have to digitize. I'm telling you, every company that we're meeting, first thing that they say is digitize our invoices. Because even when you guys go for audit, it's so easy to trace documents. With your barcoding and other stuff, you are able to trace the document. Otherwise, imagine you have to look for documents, physical documents, and when the volumes are extremely difficult. With digital documents, even the big four, they just go through that and they kind of approve it. So, bigger the better for digitization. Yes, it will take some time, but the advantages that comes from digitization, the analytics that you can build around that is humongous.
And once the document has been captured in some other country, for that to reach to a person in India, that cannot be done through emails.
No. You put it on the cloud. See, as you know, Azure. See, today cloud is very, security is important, right? No client would like his data to be accessed by anybody and everybody. Today, cloud is there, cloud service, right? Azure is there, Amazon is there, right? All of these people use secure thing. You just move those documents into those servers. All the documents are saved and secured there. So you're accessing sitting here, the client. So I don't have to physically receive on my desktop, no, or my laptop. It's all there on the cloud. We access it on the net. Using the net, I access it on the server and process the information.
And sir, here you are working on the model where everything has been outsourced, even in India?
Yes.
So how do you deal with the question about one of the people or one of the teams hijacking that particular client on which he is working?
I didn't get you.
Say for example, you mentioned about the hospital assignment.
Yeah.
You have outsourced
so
that work.
About you losing people on the clients taking away the people?
The people taking away the client.
No, that was really, that it doesn't, see, at the end of the day, you need to have the infrastructure to deliver. See, our customers are somebody that one person cannot take it and deliver. You need to have the people, you need to have the process and technology. So we are not worried about that. I am 100% sure none of my employees can take away my customer simply because you won't be able to support it. It takes that effort to support it. On the contrary, will a client take away my employee as one of the key resources? That question can come up. It has happened in a few instances, not that it has not happened, but we protect ourselves through our contracts where we clearly say that during the course of the engagement and the period after that, they are not supposed to hire. It has happened a couple of times, but I must say 99.99% we have been very fortunate and clients have been very professional in whatever they have done with us.
Thank you.
During the process of your business, were there any time where there have been legal proceedings from the client, or when you were doing SOX and all?
Yeah.
These US.
Sorry, ma'am, you need to be a little louder.
US and all are really they have legal strict rules and all. So during the procedure, were there any legal proceedings on your firm happening by any chance?
Sorry.
Legal?
No, legal, no, we have not faced, no, we have not had any legal, see, I'll tell you what, let me be honest, you do make mistakes, come on, we're all working on numbers, and you are depending on people, you will make mistakes, right? I must admit, there are situations where, so I didn't mention this, right, we have something called a compliance tracker. Every client of mine has a compliance tracker where every line item of his, like EDS, from a shop and establishment to an SEC registration for Indian clients is all mapped and tracked in a compliance tracker, right? And every one of my users is notified, like Mr. Rishi was saying, they get alerts 4 days before, 1 week before, depending on the activity, they get alerts to say that you have to do this. We take all of that care, we build KPI, but still we pay, we have made errors where interest has to be paid. they have wound up and paid interest for the customer. I mean, that has happened. It's not that they have taken us to the court and we have been paid. We have admitted that there is an error which has happened and we have paid that interest for wherever the errors have happened, though there are very, very few, I must say. Yeah. Fortunately, nobody has taken us to the court. And don't worry, I don't think that should bother you from starting something. Okay, thank you all, and I wish you all the very best and hope to see many of you more joining us in the offshore market. Thank you.
Friends, we had an excellent presentation from Chetan. He shared his practical experience from a small team to today more than 1,000 professionals working for. It's a proud moment for all of us as chartered accountants. He initially started like us, only a small practice, then moved to this wonderful company. So the one thing is, I think, I really appreciate, we need to understand our client and our engagements, understand the engagement, and in-depth study of the engagement gives much more, we are able to provide value-added service to our clients. That is how I think we are able to reach success. That is what Perrin also reached success through that model. And now they started with their core competence. Now move to the things are changing, digitization. They are moving to that, and they can compete any big corporates like Infosys or any other company in that market too. It is a wonderful sharing their experience. Thank you very much, Chetan. Please stand in the round of applause. As a token of appreciation and gratitude, may I request Sridhar will come forward and present a moment to Chetan. Please thank Chetan once again. Thank you very much. Friends, let us break for tea, then reassemble by 6:30 for our next session on CPA Australia, how you can acquire that qualification. Preeti is here, already joined us. Let us break for tea and assemble by 6:30. Thank you.